Hey everyone, welcome to Primary Market Chatter brought to you by Sunday Investing. This is our part 2 of July second week IPOs. So we had done is हमने Sunday को part 1 किया था in which we had covered TFS Travel Food Services जो company कल close हो रही है, and उसके अलावा we had covered 3 SMEs including Cryogenic which closed yesterday and allotment came just 5 minutes, like half an hour ago. So if someone got allotment, congratulations to the lucky one. Then we also spoke in the same call about Meta Infotech, which closed yesterday, as well as regarding Chemcard, which is closing tomorrow. So if you want to listen to the review of any of those companies, definitely go ahead and go to our YouTube channel, the link to which is in the pinned comments. आप वहां पे जाके उसको सुन सकते हैं. What we'll do today is that this should be a quick review. We will talk about 4 companies, sorry, which we'll be doing today. We'll start with Glen, then we will do CFF Fluid, जिसका FPO आ रहा है. Then we'll talk about probably Smarten, and then close with Asston Pharma. So that's the order for the day. Rohit will be joining us in half an hour from when it is his turn to do his company. He's traveling. And Tanmay remains out, continues to be out this week. So it would majorly be Yash and me. I'll be doing 2 companies. Yash will be doing one, and then Rohit will join us for one company. Yash was sick yesterday, so that is why we have to do it in 2 parts. But having said that, let me probably, before we get started, just mention a couple of things. One, we are not qualified research analyst. None of our opinion is a qualified opinion. Definitely do your due diligence. This is more of a just what we feel about the company, but आप अपना due diligence definitely करें and उसके basis पे call लें. We will not be responsible for any profit or loss that you guys make, although we really hope that you make profits. Second thing, if you haven't joined the YouTube channel, go ahead and join the YouTube channel now. With that, maybe let me probably just start with my first company. The first company which we'll be doing is Glen Industries Limited. Just setting up the company, incorporated in 2007. Company is engaged in manufacturing of eco-friendly food packaging and service products. It specializes in producing thin-walled containers and compostable straws, serving sectors such as hotels, restaurants, and cafes. In short, known as the HoReCa, the beverage industry and food packaging. Just quickly talking about the IPO. So basically, company ना thin wall container जो हम जिन कंटेनर्स में फूड पैकेजिंग आती है, यूज एंड थ्रो कंटेनर्स जो आते हैं वो बनाती है. आईपीओ की बात करूं तो इट्स 63 करोड़ आईपीओ, डिसेंट साइज आईपीओ, 63 करोड़ का आईपीओ है, ऑल ऑफ विच इज अ फ्रेश इशू. कंपनी का जो मार्केट कैप है वो 233 करोड़ का है. तो इट्स लाइक डाइल्यूटिंग 30% ऑफ इट्स इक्विटी राइट नाउ इन दिस राउंड. FY25 के फाइनेंशियल्स की बात करूं तो कंपनी ने 171 करोड़ का रेवेन्यू किया है और बॉटम लाइन जो है वो अराउंड 18.27 करोड़ है. सो 18.25 करोड़ का कंपनी ने प्रॉफिट किया है. सो बेसिस द पैट इट्स कमिंग एट लाइक 13 PE FY25. और अगर LM की बात करूं तो LM GYR कैपिटल है. सो दैट्स विद दैट लेट मी जस्ट क्विकली टॉक अबाउट ग्लेन इंडस्ट्रीज एंड माय रिव्यू ऑफ इट. I would just be start by saying that there are a lot of interviews available with respect to Glen. So definitely listen to interviews of the promoter as well. I found the promoter very seasoned in what he does. काफी smart and seasoned promoter है. He is a aged person, 66 years. So brings in a lot of experience with respect to what he does. We'll kind of cover that, but let me just quickly start with what the company does. So company, as I said, is in food packaging and services products. Mainly 3 अलग अलग चीजें बनाती है कंपनी. एक तो थिन वॉल फूड कंटेनर हो गए. ये वो यूज एंड थ्रो कंटेनर होते हैं जो कि हम देखते हैं, जिसमें हमारा फूड जोमेटो स्विगी जब करते हो तो उसमें जो वो प्लास्टिक के boxes आते हैं, that is what the company manufactures. And then it makes PLA straws and paper straws. PLA straws वो होते हैं जो अपन फ्रूटी वगैरह में लगा हुआ होता है ना पॉलिथिन में, that's the plastic वाला is the PLA straw. And then paper straw is जो बीच में रेगुलेशन आया था कि that needs to be made from paper. And इनके क्लाइंट्स जो होंगे वो मेजरली होटल, रेस्टोरेंट और कैफे सेक्टर्स के होंगे, as the company said. Company is an old company, started in 2007 under Glen Stationery Private Limited, और उसके बाद promoter also was working with another company as a promoter, and then उन company में जब उनका separate हुई तो 2017 if I'm not wrong is when they start 2019 is when they started this he took over this company Glen Industries and उसने उनको बढ़ाना चालू किया while the other two promoters took the other companies जो पहले से चल रही थी। तो अभी अगर कंपनी की बात करूं तो इन 3 सेगमेंट्स में कंपनी काम करती है। जैसा मैंने बताया थिन वॉल कंटेनर्स, यहाँ से लगभग 75% ऑफ बिजनेस जो आता है वो इधर से आता है थिन वॉल कंटेनर्स से, और जो पीएलए स्ट्रॉस है उससे 20% बिजनेस आता है और पेपर स्ट्रॉस से 5% बिजनेस आता है। एंड थिन वॉल कंटेनर जो है वो उसमें लगभग लगभग 18 से 19% इबिड्डा बचता है कंपनी को। पीएलए स्ट्रॉ और पेपर स्ट्रॉ थोड़ा ज्यादा मार्जिन मिलता है, उसमें 23 से 24% इबिड्डा मार्जिन मिलता है कंपनी को। दिस इज समथिंग विच वी विल कम बैक व्हेन वी विल टॉक अबाउट द मार्जिन्स एंड द फाइनेंशियल प्रोजेक्शन। सो जस्ट वांट टू हाईलाइट इट टुवर्ड्स एंड। उसके अलावा कंपनी का भी बहुत छोटा रेवेन्यू, अराउंड 170 में से 1 CR रेवेन्यू इज ऑल्सो टुवर्ड्स मोल्ड डिजाइन। तो किसी को कैसे बॉक्सेस चाहिए उसका एक मोल्ड बना के देना पड़ेगा, उस हिसाब से फिर मोल्ड कॉपी होगा, राइट। तो उसमें भी कंपनी कुछ कुछ करती है, बट अगेन दैट्स अ very very small and niche segment, so we can completely ignore it for everything in terms of our calculations. अभी कंपनी के पास जो कैपेसिटी है तो उसकी बात करते हैं। बाय द वे इट्स अ कोलकाता बेस्ड कंपनी, कोलकाता में ही प्रमोटर हैज बीन इन कोलकाता फॉर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम। इन टर्म्स ऑफ लाइक अगर प्रमोटर पेडिग्री की बात करूं तो इज 66 years of old and acts as the chairman of the board. उनने बिट्स पिलानी से मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग किया एंड देन मास्टर्स इन इंडस्ट्रियल मैनेजमेंट किया है फ्रॉम आईआईटी खड़गपुर, एंड देन ही इज ऑल्सो द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडियन प्लास्टिक फेडरेशन and also manages a lot of bodies with respect to plastic. So it just shows that the promoter pedigree is very good and he has been able to do business in this industry for quite some time. And that's a very good thing with respect to just the industry, just the promoter pedigree which we are getting. उसके बाद मेजरली जो रेवेन्यू है वो ऑन इंक्रीजिंग ट्रेंड है। इस बार अराउंड 170 CR किया उन्होंने FY25 में, जिसमें बहुत डोमेस्टिक भी एज वेल एज एक्सपोर्ट भी है। डोमेस्टिक कंट्रीब्यूट्स टू लाइक 66% ऑफ द बिजनेस, एक्सपोर्ट जो है वो 33% बिजनेस का एक्सपोर्ट है। एंड देयर वाज दिस is my voice not clear? I'm getting messages, but I'm assuming that you guys are able to hear me. ठीक है। So the promoter had mentioned, sorry, where was I? ठीक है। So domestic forms 67% of the business, export में 33% of the business है, एंड दोनों ही ऑन एन इंक्रीजिंग ट्रेंड है। तो डोमेस्टिक भी बढ़ रहा है, एक्सपोर्ट भी बढ़ रहा है, एंड आफ्टर दे पुट इन देयर न्यू कैपेसिटी विच इज व्हाट आई विल टॉक अबाउट, दे विल लुक एट पिकिंग अप एक्सपोर्ट मोर। बट हैविंग सेड दैट, एक्सपोर्ट और डोमेस्टिक में मार्जिन में कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है, दे आर एबल टू गेन द सेम मार्जिन विच इज गुड। अब अगर मैं जैसे थिन वॉल कंटेनर बात करूं तो ये कौन यूज करता है, दिस लाइक हल्दीराम हो गया, ऑल ऑफ दोस बिग क्लाइंट्स इज व्हाट दिस कंपनी हैज उस कैफेज वगैरह में। और उसके अलावा भी उन्होंने 3-4 बड़े नाम लिए थे जो जिनको ये यूज करते हैं फॉर थिन वॉल कंटेनर प्लास्टिक पैकेजेस। उसके अलावा जो अपना बेवरेजेस है, जो ये स्ट्रॉस हैं वो बेवरेजेस में यूज होते हैं। तो इसमें इनके क्लाइंट कौन है, पार्ले हो गया, ऐसे बड़े बड़े। सो ऑल एमएनसीज आर व्हाट दीज गाइज वर्क विथ, विच इज अ गुड थिंग बिकॉज दे हैव गुड AAA ग्रेडेड क्लाइंट्स विच दे वर्क विथ। अब उसके अलावा रेवेन्यू की बात करूं तो कंपनी ने FY23 में 118 करोड़ किया था, FY24 में 144 CR किया, एंड FY25 में 170 CR किया। सो द रेवेन्यू इज ऑल्सो ऑन इंक्रीजिंग ट्रेंड। इबिड्डा मार्जिन अगर आप देखोगे तो इस साल इबिड्डा मार्जिन अराउंड 23% है, जैसा मैंने बताया, जो पिछले साल तक 17% थी। दिस इज वन थिंग वेयर आई हैव अ स्लाइट प्रॉब्लम विद, बिकॉज आई feel that the numbers would come down, and the promoter also hinted at a stable EBITDA margin of close to 18%. His reasoning, उनकी रीजनिंग ये थी कि बिजनेस में अभी क्या है कि जो स्ट्रॉस वगैरह है वो ज्यादा पार्ट है बिजनेस का, और जो अब नया प्लांट को ला रहे हैं, एक बार पहले नए प्लांट की बात कर लेते हैं, व्हाई आर दे रेजिंग मनी, बट लेट मी सी इफ आई वांट टू, एंड उसके बाद इस पे वापस से आऊंगा इश्यूज पे। सो वापस से बात करता हूँ। 47 करोड़ कंपनी जो रेज कर रही है वो नया प्लांट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट लगाने के लिए कर रही है, और बाकी जो है वो जीसीपी है, जनरल कॉर्पोरेट पर्पसेस, और इशू एक्सपेंस के लिए 63 में से। तो 47 करोड़ जो ये ले रहे हैं, उसमें से नया प्लांट बनाएंगे विच वुड गो लाइव इन February of 2026. So there would be very minimum contribution to the business from the new plant in FY26. So it's a FY27 story. एक बार जब ये प्लांट बन जाएगा, operational हो जाएगा, that's when the capacity will increase multifold. But very similar to what we had seen in Sachi, जो कि अभी रिसेंटली आईपीओ आया था, अगेन जीवाईआर का था वो भी, एंड उसमें भी ये था कि कैपेसिटी बाद में लाइव हो रही थी एंड देयर वाज अ बिग जेस्टेशन पीरियड. इसमें भी बड़ा जेस्टेशन पीरियड है. उसके बाद अगर बात करें तो इस जो ये प्लांट है ये जनवरी 2026 में लाइव होगा. इसमें दे विल डू द अगेन द सेम थिंग्स. प्लास्टिक फूड कंटेनर्स बनाएंगे बाय इंजेक्शन मेथड, थर्मोफॉर्जिंग मेथड, ऐसे कुछ कुछ अलग अलग मेथड्स थी. उसके अलावा पेपर कप्स बनाएंगे बिकॉज ऑल ऑफ दीज प्रोडक्ट्स टेंड टू वर्क इन पैरेलल. लाइक ये दोनों एक ही साथ बिकते हैं. सो इसमें FY20 बट इनको इस प्लांट को बनाने के लिए 100 CR चाहिए, जिसमें से दे हैव स्पेंट 2.5 CR फ्रॉम इंटरनल अक्रूवल्स, 47 यहाँ से आ जाएंगे एंड दे विल टेक बोरोइंग्स ऑफ 50 CR. तो 50 CR की और बोरोइंग लेंगे ये बुक्स पे, विच विल हिट द बॉटम लाइन इन द शॉर्ट टर्म, क्योंकि उसका इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस वगैरह लगने लगेगा. सो इज अगेन वन थिंग विच वन नीड्स टू लुक एट. अब उसके अलावा वापस से फाइनेंशियल्स की अगर मैं बात करूं, वन जैसा मैंने बताया 119 से रेवेन्यू FY23 में 171 CR हो गया है. FY25 में EBITDA margins have went up from 12% to 23%. And a major reason, if you look at the balance sheet, you will feel that a major reason for EBITDA margin is just the cost of material consumed, जो कि पिछले साल तक 57% था. ग्रॉस मार्जिन लेवल पे बेसिकली 43% था, वो इस बार 50% हो गई, क्योंकि उनका कॉस्ट ऑफ मटेरियल कम हो गया है इस साल में आईपीओ ईयर में, विच टू मी डजंट सिट वेल विथ मी. देयर माइट बी अ रीजन बट एटलीस्ट टू मी इट सीम्स टू हाई. आई थिंक 18% इज द करेक्ट EBITDA margin business that this company would be doing in the future, and that is something which you should calculate and not the numbers which are currently put in. Having said that, can be wrong, but that's the hint that I am like getting towards. उसके अलावा कंपनी पे लोन भी है अभी. द कंपनी ऑलरेडी हैज अ लॉन्ग टर्म बोरोइंग ऑफ क्लोज टू 48 CR, जिसका ये इंटरेस्ट पे कर रहे होंगे. They are not going to repay that, and then they are taking another further loan of 50 CR. So there's going to be a long gestation period, and during that period, numbers may look shaky because ये पुराना जो अभी वाला है उसका भी लोन भर रहे होंगे और पुराने का भी ये चुका नहीं रहे लोन, राइट. सो एंड EBITDA margins also I feel would go down, क्योंकि उनका कहना था कि अभी EBITDA margin 23% इसलिए है क्योंकि हम स्ट्रॉस और जो PLA स्ट्रॉ और पेपर स्ट्रॉ है वो ज्यादा परसेंटेज बनाता है हमारे रेवेन्यू का. ओवर टाइम वो कम परसेंटेज हो जाएगा, क्योंकि जो नई कैपेसिटी बाय द वे दैट्स ऑल फॉर थिन वॉल कंटेनर्स एंड पेपर प्रोडक्ट्स. तो जो नई कैपेसिटी में वो ज्यादा काम होगा और वो लोअर पैट मार्जिन है, EBITDA मार्जिन है, तो इसलिए द EBITDA विल स्टेबलाइज एट अराउंड 18%. So if you want to take the EBITDA, that is a good EBITDA to kind of take towards. But फिर भी अगर मैं if I consider कि ये कंपनी ने अगर ये नंबर जो किया 18.25 CR FY25 का बॉटम लाइन, अगर इसको मानते हैं तो उस हिसाब से इसका पीई आता है अराउंड 13, विच सीम्स लो. बट देन द सेक्टर इन इटसेल्फ इज नॉट द ग्रेटेस्ट ऑफ सेक्टर बिकॉज paper products, plastic packaging, etc. has never seen fancy of investors because there is a huge risk of regulations. तो इनने जो promoters इंटरव्यू में पूछा था, he mentioned that there is nothing in terms of plastic regulation. All you need to do is to follow EPR. जो अपनी EPR गाइडलाइंस होती हैं कि जितना आप प्लास्टिक यूज करोगे उतना आपको किसी और मेथड से रिसाइकिल भी करना पड़ेगा. सो वी आर क्लाइंट्स टेंड टू डू दैट, बट उसके अलावा कोई रेगुलेशन का इशू नहीं है. बट हैविंग सेड दैट, दिस विल ऑलवेज बी इंडस्ट्री विच विल be on the forefront of changes because of environmental sustainability. तो इसलिए because of that the sector hasn't enjoyed a huge PE as such, and it having a higher margin, it doesn't give me that much comfort right now, plus the 1 year long gestation period. What works for the business really well is the promoter pedigree. Promoter is very sorted. He understands his business, comes with a lot of experience and would deliver. Like आप उनका interview देखोगे तो it's very refreshing where he's going ahead and saying, hey, if you are only looking for listing gains, do not apply to my IPO, which I found very interesting. I have never heard anyone say it, but yeah, that's something which he mentioned. So my view is, again, if you are a long-term investor, can probably hold it at IPO price. Having said that, if I talk about the anchor list was good. There were a lot of good names, big names in it. Uh, Mukul Agrawal was there through Sanchi, and then Sunil Singhania's fund was there. So there are big names in it. So at IPO price, I feel the probability of a discount is very less. Plus इस issue में ना क्या है कि this is probably on 10th. This is one of those issues जहाँ पे सब जाएंगे because it would have some premium is what I'm thinking. So nobody, because of lack of options, this would be very heavily subscribed. So you can try your luck. But if I get it, I will be trying my luck. Not you, but I will be trying my luck. If I get it, I will probably flip on listing or somewhere around day one is what my strategy is. Because again, long gestation period is, so that doesn't give me a lot of confidence. But having said that, this is something which would start making sense. कभी ना कभी ये प्राइज इन होगा बिजनेस, क्योंकि बहुत बड़ा कैपेक्स कर रहे हैं, तो जब वो प्राइज इन होगा एक साल बाद, 6 महीने बाद, दैट इज व्हेन दिस बिजनेस विल बिकम वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टू लुक एट प्रोबेबली, एंड बाय देन वील आल्सो नो कि मार्केट कितना पी सस्टेनेबली दे रहा है, बिकॉज दिस सेगमेंट डजंट टेंड टू एंजॉय अ हाई पी एज सच. अभी इनने जो अपना पीआई दिखाया है वो राष्ट्रीय पॉलीपैक दिखाया है विच इज हैविंग 25 पीई. सो अगर मार्केट वहां तक देता है, आई थिंक इट्स एट लाइक 20 पीई ऑनेस्टली. वो 13 जो नंबर है, दैट्स ऑन हायर इबिड्डा मार्जिन, सो उसको कम करना पड़ेगा उस लेवल पे. सो अगर आप कम इबिड्डा लोगे और उसके अलावा उसमें जो डेप्ट आएगी उसकी वजह से इंटरेस्ट कॉस्ट आएगा, सो इट्स समवेयर अराउंड 20 पी. सो 20% की जगह छोड़ी कंपनी ने, आई फील, इफ यू लुक एट इट कंपेयर टू अ पीयर. तो मेरे को वो मिलेगा तो आई विल बी वेरी हैप्पी टू टेक अ एग्जिट इज व्हाट I think about the company. But having said that, would apply for listing and flipping. Just being very, very frank. So that is what my review of Glen Industries was. It's a GYR issue, so again, GYR tends to manage listings well. So we'll see. So moving forward, talking about the second company which we'll be talking about is CFF Fluid. The company manufactures and services submarine machinery, critical component systems, and test facilities for Indian Defence PSU shipyard. Its product portfolio includes fluid control systems, distributors and air panels, weapons and control systems, etc. Setting up the FPO, not IPO. FPO जो है ये 87 crores का FPO है, big size FPO, all of which is fresh issue. एंड ये बुक बिल्ड नहीं है, लाइक कोई एंकर वगैरह नहीं है इसमें. इट्स अ फिक्स प्राइस एफपीओ. All of the float will be available on day one of listing. So we'll see how it evolves. Market cap is close to 1250 crores. So they have left like 15%, 10 to 15% space from the current price. But again, price अभी भगा हुआ है over the last 2-3 days. मैं देख रहा था 3 दिन पहले price was around 619 and the FPO is priced at 585. So those prices, the current price and this should converge. We'll see how it evolves. But yeah, in terms of FY25 revenue, कंपनी ने 146 crores का टॉप लाइन किया था and 24 crores का bottom line किया था. So it's coming at like FPO's price at like 40p trailing, 40p FY25. LM की बात करूं तो LM Aryaman Financial Services है. So with that, maybe Yash, do you want to go ahead and talk about CFF?
Yes, cool. So, CFF Fluid Control is an engineering company creating a self-reliance for. Just a second. Hello. Yes.
Yep,
So
yep.
CFF Fluid Control is an engineering company creating self-reliance by innovating manufacturing customized products and solution for especially the defense, the Navy landscape of India. So what they have done is even immediately after the inception, they have gotten into an TOT with the Coyard SAS France, which led to the new age fluid control systems and mechanical equipment, which helps the submarine program of the Indian Navy. So the company provide technological solution ranging from mechanical to electronics and communication to the Indian Navy. Basically, they serve two industries: defense, energies, mainly into defense, critical components, platform, overall repair, life cycle support. Uh, their main focus is the critical fluid control systems, wall actuators, precision subsystems for defense and marine applications. The key is the indigenization partner for the Indian Navy submarine programs. So notably, CFF is the authorized equipment manufacturer for certain Scorpion submarines, which is the Calvary class submarines, making it the single sole supplier for those parts for the 30 years of the lifespan of the submarines. So this is the biggest moat the company can get, that it is the single source supplier for those parts for the next 30 years of the life cycle of the submarines. This includes गिविंग द पार्ट्स, देन उसका पूरा लाइफ साइकिल रहता है कि नेक्स्ट 3 मंथ्स में आपको ये करना है. नेक्स्ट मतलब 3 स्टेज रहता है बेसिकली. तो फर्स्ट स्टेज इज बेसिकली जो आप शॉर्ट रिफिट करते हो, जिसका 3 महीने का टाइमलाइन होता है. 25% ऑफ इक्विपमेंट आपको रिप्लेस करना पड़ता है. और ये नेक्स्ट रिप्लेस कर मतलब ये नेक्स्ट शॉर्ट रिफिट जो होता है ये टेक प्लेस करता है आफ्टर द 18 मंथ्स ऑफ ऑपरेशंस. फिर होता है नॉर्मल रिफिट, ये भी 3 महीने का होता है. ये होता है हर 5 साल में. ठीक है. और एवरी थर्ड शॉर्ट रिफिट इज द नॉर्मल रिफिट, जिसमें द रिपेयर कंप्राइजेस 50% ऑफ द इक्विपमेंट. पूरा पूरा जो सिस्टम होता है वो रिपेयर करा जाता है, उसके जगह नया सिस्टम डाला जाता है, और ये हर 5 साल में एक बार होता है. देन द अदर वन इज द मेजर रिफिट, विच इज which take place every second normal refit, which is the 10 years of life cycle पे, जिसमें पूरा स्ट्रिप डाउन करा जाता है प्रोडक्ट को. 100% रिपेयर करा जाता है इक्विपमेंट, नया पार्ट डाला जाता है, पूरा सिस्टम को रिपेयर करके नया कंसोल और पूरा प्लेटफॉर्म प्रोवाइड करा जाता है. This is the strong moat, and this is how the big 30 years ka 25 years ka timeline is for the company. So this is the main thing which we need to focus on. So in terms of the competitive landscape, defense landscape in India, में बहुत स्पेशलाइज्ड डोमेन में काम कर रहा है विद वेरी हाई एंट्री बैरियर्स, स्पेशली सीएफएफ. देयर आर वेरी फ्यू इंडियन कंपनीज which main focuses on submarine grade fluid control systems. You would have seen large defense integrators like L&T, Walcher Industries. They have very broad engineering capabilities, especially into shipbuilding and missile systems, but not singularly focused into the naval fluid control systems, which CFF has. And on the other hand, CFF has spent over a decade of qualifying its product with the Navy, achieving authorized vendor status that the competitors cannot easily replicate. तो सीएफएफ वाज वन ऑफ द नेवल ग्रुप्स जो फ्रांस का था, उसका सेलेक्ट इंडस्ट्री पार्टनर्स फॉर द स्कॉर्पियन सबमरीन प्रोजेक्ट, कि जिससे ही पता चलता है कि कंपनी हैज सुपर कैपेबिलिटीज. देयर इज नो लाइक फॉर लाइक डिफेंस कॉम्पिटिटर इंडिया में, एटलीस्ट विच आई कैन थिंक ऑफ, इंडियन जो ये फ्लूइड सिस्टम्स प्रोवाइड करता है. ग्लोबली इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द फ्लूइड मार्केट, कंट्रोल इज वेरी पॉपुलेटेड बाय द लार्ज इंडस्ट्रियल फर्म्स, जैसे एमर्सन इलेक्ट्रिक हो गया, हनीवेल हो गया, आपका अल्फा लेवल हो गया. बट दीज आर द कंपनीज which offer valves, actuators across all marine, oil and gas, industrial sectors worldwide. Specifically, जो CFF का differentiation lie करता है, which is its defense focus in the Indian market. So these global majors have greater resources, but typically serve the naval programs via local partnership or exports, which again will help CFF in the longer run. In India's case, the defense procurement policies are more favored toward the domestic manufacturing and for the long term supports. So this is what the major plays कि अगर आपको इंडिया में you need to go with a smaller base with a very high terminal value, let's say 20-25 years तक this can be a compounding machine. अब वो 10-15% compound करे for few years. There might be years when this might not even perform very well. But if we are looking at a long term perspective, this is the company which I can bet blindly, very blindly, कि जो capability और जो R&D strength company के पास है, there is no other competitor. So that is how the terminal value of a business increases when this goes into the main board. Many of the institutions and basically institutional favorite होने के बहुत ज्यादा chances हैं इसके. If I talk about, as I have said, the R&D strengths, so let me talk about the R&D strength also. So CFF has built very strong technological capabilities through its both the in-house development and the strategic technology transfer agreements which they have done. So first transfer जो हुआ था इनका tech tie-up जो हुआ था, it was with Koyard SAS, bringing in the modern fluid control design for the Indian submarines. Then this was linked with the agreement with the Naval Group France and Israel France to license various Scorpion submarines equipment with their life cycles. अभी रिसेंटली इन्होंने लेटर ऑफ इंटेंट भी साइन किया था स्टार्टिंग में नर्डिस फ्रांस के साथ टू एक्नॉर द नो हाउ ऑफ टायर्ड वायर एंटीना, जिसके बहुत सारे ऑर्डर्स भी इनको मिले हैं छोटे छोटे. नाउ रिसेंटली इट हैज पार्टनर्स विद द एटलस GmbH Germany, broadening it access to advanced naval technologies. So these alliances are very semi proprietary rights in India. और कटिंग एज सबसिस्टम्स प्रोवाइड कर सकता है एज एन ऑथराइज्ड इक्विपमेंट मैन्युफैक्चर फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर आइटम एंड ऑल रिप्लेसमेंट्स, जो कि सारा स्पेस का करना है, वो सारा सिंगल सोर्स अगर यही है, तो दिस इज द वेरी सिग्निफिकेंट मोड विच CFF हैज. Internally, CFF has a robust R&D production infrastructure, operates in a 6,000 metric square state-of-art facility, approved by the Indian Navy, MDL, and the Naval Group. The plant includes class 10,000 clean room specialized equipment, which consist of TIG welding machines, water jet cutters. Then there is heat treatment furnaces, advanced CAD, SAM design software to work on the 3D model and development of the new products as well. Then there is the CNC, VMC, the new capex that they did with the IPO, which has significantly increased the capacity for the CFF company. ऑलमोस्ट 2x तो उसने मशीनिंग कैपेबिलिटीज अपना इंक्रीज कर दिया था विद द हेल्प ऑफ आईपीओ. तो जो इनका इन हाउस डिजाइन टीम है, दैट इज ऑल्सो वेरी experience in meeting the military specifications, enabling the company to make prototype, fabricate the complex stealth and propulsion components to exacting standards. तो क्या होता है कि सपोज देर इज अ सबमरीन, अभी देर आर मेनी प्रोजेक्ट्स इन विच CFF इज वर्किंग. द वन इज जो उनका बैटरी वाला पार्ट है, in which if a submarine is coming every 10, let's say 10-15 minutes, उस पे क्या बोलते हैं, वाटर के सरफेस पे, तो वो टाइम बढ़ जाता है. और इन टर्म्स ऑफ सर्टिफिकेशन क्वालिटी, CFF इज ISO सर्टिफाइड, क्वालिटी मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम्स पूरा उनका क्लियर है. काफी प्रोग्रेसिवली एम्पैनलिंग कर रहे हैं विद ऑल द शिप बिल्डर्स, रिसेंटली रजिस्टर्ड विद MDL, नेवल डॉकयार्ड्स, इन प्रोसेस ऑफ रजिस्टरिंग विद गार्डन रीच, हिंदुस्तान शिपयार्ड एंड कोचिंग शिपयार्ड. इससे जो जो प्रोजेक्ट का स्कोप होता है वो काफी ब्रॉड हो जाता है. सरफेस वॉरशिप, एयरक्राफ्ट कैरियर सिस्टम्स, अंडरस्कोरिंग द नीड एंड डिमांड्स ऑफ द डिफेंस लैंडस्केप ओवरऑल जो रहता है. ठीक है, अभी जो सप्लाई चेन के टर्म्स में बात करूं, जो पोजीशनिंग है CFF का, इट्स वेरी यूनिक एज वेल. बहुत टाइटली इंटीग्रेटेड है with its both domestic and international partners. On the vendor side, the company remains dependent on few specialized suppliers for the critical materials and components. जो टॉप 5 सप्लायर्स होते हैं वो ऑलमोस्ट 80-90% ऑफ इट्स रॉ मटेरियल का कंपोनेंट होते हैं. तो मतलब दीज आर द नॉर्मल थिंग फॉर द कंपनी एज पर मी, बिकॉज जहाँ पे मोट होता है आप वहाँ पे डिक्लेयर भी नहीं कर सकते कि मैं इससे ले रहा हूँ, एंड जो रॉ मटेरियल भी प्रोवाइड करता है वो भी इंजॉय करता है अपना ये बेनिफिट. तो डोमेस्टिकली भी CFF के पास स्ट्रॉन्ग लिंक्स है विद कस्टमर, सिंगल वेंडर स्टेटस फॉर द सर्टेन नेवी स्पेयर्स, रिपेयर स्पेयर्स, सिमिलर थिंग्स अगेन एंड अगेन. टेलविंस की बात करूं तो डिफेंस एक्सपोर्ट्स तो इंक्रीज हो ही रहा है लास्ट 5-6 ईयर से. देन देर इज अगेन आफ्टर ऑपरेशन सिंदूर देर आर मोर फोकस इन टर्म्स ऑफ हाउ टू एनहांस द capabilities of the इंडियन नेवी एंड द होल डिफेंस लैंडस्केप. तो टोटल जो एड्रेसेबल मार्केट है कंपनी का वो बहुत बड़ा है. मतलब वेरी बिग अपॉर्चुनिटी. 25-30,000 करोड़ का तो आई थिंक द स्कॉर्पियन प्रोजेक्ट ही है, P75I. These are the 6 next generation conventional submarine estimated to be around 30,000 करोड़. तो अभी इसमें 2 मॉडल्स आते हैं, P75I एंड P75. तो दोनों को मिला दूं तो अराउंड 60,000 करोड़ एंड 70,000 करोड़ का टोटल कॉस्ट हो जाएगा. दिस विल रिक्वायर एक्सटेंसिव फ्लूइड कंट्रोल्स, हाइड्रोलिक्स, लाइफ सपोर्ट सिस्टम्स, पूरा जो रिपेयर ओवरऑल होना है वो सब जो भी होना है इसमें. देन देर इज स्कॉर्पियन एड ऑन सबमरीन्स विच इज द 3 एडिशनल स्कॉर्पियन सब क्लास विच इज एस्टिमेटेड टू बी 36,000 करोड़. जो अभी इनका एग्जिस्टिंग रोल्स है इन द फर्स्ट 6 सबमरीन्स, वो ही उसी का अमाउंट यूज करके दे कैन एंटर इनटू दिस द डिसेंट चंक्स. ठीक है. देन देर इज द surface combatants, which is the next generation surface 6 like project 17B frigates. So these are the 7 ships RFP, project 15B destroyers 4 ships हैं, next gen corvettes 1 ship है. तो these are very big projects. तो 46,000 50,000 करोड़ ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट्स. देन रिसेंट जो ऑर्डर मिला था उन्हें वो भी आप देख लो, GRSE से मिला था फॉर P17A फ्रिगेट स्पेयर्स का, indicating the entering into the segment. So over the next decade, with the Navy targeting 175 ship fleet by 2025, which is currently 130. तो almost submarines and these ships वगैरह में 240,000 करोड़ का टैम बाकी है इनका. If I talk about the commercial submarine and the offshore market, the global marine actuators and valves market is valued around $3.1 billion in 2024 and forecasted to be growing by 5% every year. जो commercial marine segment है, which is merchant ships, cruise, etc., which constitute the 75%. So this shows that कि if the company is working into defense, तो बहुत बड़ा landscape बाकी है उनका. एक्सपोर्ट अपॉर्चुनिटीज बहुत ज्यादा बड़ी है इनकी थ्रू ग्लोबल ओईएम प्रोग्राम्स. फॉर एग्जांपल जो नेवल ग्रुप का ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन है फॉर द स्कॉर्पियन सबमरीन्स एंड अदर नेवल सिस्टम्स. इफ नेवल ग्रुप सिक्योर्स submarine orders from other countries, so CFF as a qualified supplier for a certain assemblies can get a share of that work too. Then there is Make in India potentially explicitly encouraged by naval group. Then there is direct export order for indigenized product जैसे CFF का master technology के through tie up है जैसे towered antenna हो गया, specialized valve हो गया. तो it could be supply those to friendly foreign natives and our customers as well. तो अगर मतलब इंडिया खुद अपने आप में बहुत बड़ा एक्सपोर्ट का टारगेट लेके चल रहा है $5 billion in coming years, where navy can be a very big part, given that we are surrounded by waters everywhere. We have China, we have Pakistan, we have Bangladesh, and then China has the very big fleet. Given that we are nowhere close to them right now in terms of the fleet and the size that they are having. तो ये जो मोट है, this is very big moat, very big moat. I know there will be hiccups in the execution by the management, and I don't know why, and I also don't have a reason, which is very surprising to me, why their H1 is always low to H2, but that is how the case, that is how the case is. Also, given this strong moat, what I would recommend is कि people who actually want to hold this company for long term should definitely apply and keep it for long term, because these type of companies will continuously grow 20, 30, 40% for let's say next 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years. तो वो इतने छोटे बेस पे इतना बड़ा मोड जब होता है ना, तो इट ग्रोज सिग्निफिकेंटली. एंड वंस इट अचीव, जैसे जैसे वो स्केल करते हैं तो और प्रोडक्ट्स आते हैं और ज्यादा मोड बिजनेस के अराउंड बनते रहता है, तो दीज ऑलवेज कमांड वेरी हाई वैल्यूएशंस. तो आई फील वी शुड अप्लाई. गिवन लिस्टिंग गेन का तो मैं नहीं बोल सकता, बट जो लॉन्ग टर्म रखना चाहता है शुड डेफिनेटली अप्लाई एंड कीप इट फॉर लॉन्ग टर्म.
Got it. Thanks, Yash. A couple of questions. मेरे को बहुत बार ये आ रहा है कि the voice is breaking and it's for both Yash and me. I'm hoping कि जब हम YouTube वीडियो बनाए इसका, so it gets sorted. We have seen in the past कि Twitter में कई बार glitch होता है and then it doesn't come across when I down the space. I'm hoping that's the case. But if you're still facing it, please just drop yourself and try and join back. So हो सकता है उससे better हो. But yeah, मेरा यश दो क्वेश्चन है. एंड अगेन बिफोर आई मूव टू क्वेश्चंस, जस्ट वांट टू हाईलाइट वन थिंग. मैंने मार्केट कैप गलत बोला था कंपनी का. मैंने जो मार्केट कैप लिया था उसमें जो 90 CR ऐड हो रहा है अभी, क्योंकि ये 90 CR रेस कर रहे हैं, वो भी ऐड करना पड़ेगा. तो इट्स कमिंग एट समवेयर अराउंड 1200 CR एंड नॉट 1100 एज आई सेड. तो उसका पीई भी उस हिसाब से अराउंड थोड़ा ज्यादा है, 50 पी है. But then it's a moated business, as Yash said. And मैं जब Yash से पूछा तो he had told me the same thing, that this is one business he's confident of holding for a longer period of time, longer period with a smaller base, and the company will continue to grow and do well. Yash, my question is, why are they raising 90 CR right now? What is the plan for that 90 CR? Have they given any details, or have you seen?
Manish bhai, I have not read the FPO prospectus as of now. But what I think is they have many orders. I think 600-700 crores ka order book they have for the this uh, what is that, the towered antenna wala thing. So mostly I think it is for that execution, because if you see the working capital of the company, it is very bad. Matlab, it was very bad in FY24. It got very good in H2 of this year, and on the overall FY25 level, it got very improved. But the overall working capital cycle of the company remains very bad, given that the many of the cash has been stuck in the company. So the next flow of orders कंपनी को देना है, they might need to dilute it. It was very clear from the start.
Yep, that's the case. जैसा मैं देख रहा हूँ 72 crores फंडिंग वर्किंग कैपिटल के लिए आउट ऑफ 90, बाकी जीसीपी के लिए और लिस्टिंग एक्सपेंसेस के लिए. एंड दे इंटरेस्टिंगली दे वेंट फॉर एफपीओ, राइट, एंड नॉट डन अ प्रेफ और समथिंग लाइक दैट. एंड द शेयर प्राइस हैज आल्सो like been fluctuating in the same range for over the last 1 year, right? So like what is that trigger? Would this working capital help in order to just execute the 500 CR worth of incomplete orders which they were earlier not able to do or anything along those lines?
Yes, I think so. Also, if a company, do a very good turnover, so what happens is defense for the larger orders as well. So that's one thing which we need to look.
That is what our review is with respect to CFF Fluid. A couple of things to keep in mind. A, it's a फिक्स प्राइस इशू, इट्स नॉट अ बुक बिल्ट इशू, तो मतलब कि इसमें एंकर्स वगैरह नहीं होंगे, ऑल 90 CR विल बिकम अवेलेबल ऑन डे वन. तो डोंट जस्ट लुक एट द करंट प्राइस एंड द प्राइस विच यू आर गेटिंग लाइक एंड एफपीओ एंड थिंक कि उस दिन जाके ये डिफरेंस लूंगा और बेच दूंगा. देयर विल बी अ लॉट ऑफ न्यू लिक्विडिटी विच विल कम इन द मार्केट. Last example which I can think of was Sartelli. Sartelli ने भी FPO किया था, and it had also like figured out a thing like that where there was a lot of liquidity which came in and then it's consolidated for some time and then it moved. So the pointer is I do not expect huge gains in this. Like I do not expect, honestly, the price is at 670. The FPO price is 585. So you are getting like upside of 12 to 14%, but I think that will like they will merge somewhere in between and you'll get like a 5 to 7% maybe on listing. That is what my view is. But again, if you are having a longer period term of view, कि आप उसको long term रखना चाहें, तो again, that's a good company to hold. So we'll see how it goes on listing. I would also be applying a few lots in order to just hold it for some period of time and keep it. And like 590 से बहुत time तक तो price नीचे ही था. Like if you see over the last 3 months is when the prices went up. But I'm assuming that now that the company is doing its FPO, नया flow आएगा, people will just know more and because of which it will be more hotly tracked and that will help. And then the company has already done 2 years on SME board. उसका जो IPO आया था, it had came in June 23. So 2 साल हो गए कंपनी को. So it would become eligible for main board in a year. So the idea is if someone can hold for a year, the main action should happen, I feel, when it moves to a main board. तब तक we'll see it should probably grow at a sustainable 20-25%. But would be applying for a few loads in order to just hold it for a longish period of time. With that, maybe we can now talk about the next company, which is Smarten Power Systems. Incorporated in 2014, the company designs and assembles power backup and solar products, including home UPS systems, solar inverters, power conditioning units, and charge controllers, and trades solar panels and batteries as well. IPO की fixed price IPO है. Book built नहीं है, no anchor, so everything would be available on day one. It's a 50 CR IPO. Out of which 40 crores is fresh, 10 crores का OFS है. Market cap जो company IPO ला रही है वो 190 crores पे आ रही है. So they are diluting like 50 CR on 190 crore debt के पे. So like around 27% of their market cap equity they are diluting in this round. FY25 के financials की बात करूं तो they did a top line of 203 crores, bottom line of 12.75 crores. So it's priced at like 15 PE. FY25 पे 15 PE पे आ रहा है. LM की बात करूं तो LM Arihant Capital है. So with that, maybe Rohit, do you want to go ahead and test your luck if people can hear you at least?
Let me try. So I'll just preface it by saying this review will be a little thinner than some of the previous reviews. I've not had a great chance to cover or read everything about this company, but I'll try and share my view. At least I'll share some facts and share my, let's say, preliminary view. You guys can take your call accordingly. This is so Smarten Power, basically they make they do two types of things. They assemble a bunch of UPS inverter type products. So they have a wide range of these products which they assemble. And then they also trade in a couple of categories of products. One is batteries and the other is some solar panels. So these two are maybe 45% of their business, and about 55-60% of business is the assembly of these battery type products. So either UPS, they have some inverter SKUs, they have some solar inverter SKUs, they're going to launch some hybrid solar inverter products and so on. These are all products that are mainly for residential use. So even though they're a B2B business, which they will work with dealers and distributors, ultimately these are the products that you might actually use in your own home. This is not the kind of battery systems or even say the best systems that you would see in commercial and industrial segments or in the power generation segment. So this is not, at least my understanding is this company isn't directly linked to this best segment, which is so, you can say it's a hot sector, more of what you might use at your home. They do want to introduce a lot of new products, including lithium-ion batteries, some EV chargers, and so on. But currently, they don't have that. Today, they operate with a capacity of around 600 inverters, UPS, PCUs. In that segment, they can do about 600 per day. And they are looking to double the capacity for that by the end of the year. So by December, they will go from 600 to 1200. They are basically moving into a new facility by the end of this year. The facility is already under construction, so the lead time for this will not be as long as, say, some of the other IPOs that we have seen. Apart from this stuff that they assemble, and remember this assembly is not really manufacturing, they just take all the components and put it together. Apart from this, they also trade, like I said, batteries and solar panels. I leave aside the solar panels. The batteries that they trade, they source from, okay, I'm forgetting the name of that plant, some Urja something. What they're doing is with the IPO funds, they are actually purchasing the machinery of that plant and essentially bringing it in-house. So they you can say they're blocking that entire chain for themselves. Initially, I think they're starting by blocking 60% of it. I think that facility can make some 8,000 batteries a month. They're blocking 60% of it immediately after the IPO. And I think what they said in the call is within 3 months, they will have the entire thing for themselves. So I think about 8,000 batteries per month of, again, I would call this assembly. I don't think anyone really manufactures battery. At least I don't think these small players would be manufacturing these batteries. But let's say they would get into the further up, you can say backward integrating on the supply chain from the battery perspective too. Today, I think 80% of the batteries that they trade are from this one facility. So they're essentially just saying, okay, I'm buying everything from you anyway. You might as well become a part of this business, a part of this company. So in 3 months, they would have gone from say 45% trading to probably 20% trading or 15% trading, because the battery thing will also can be considered to be manufactured / assembled, and that will slightly improve their margins. One thing is, over the last years have not grown much. They've said that this is mainly due to capacity constraints. They operate at around a 75% capacity, but that is, I think, limited by the variety and the size of the inverters that they make. So depending on which product they make, you can't really get to 100% capacity, because the larger inverters take more time, all things being equal, and so they cannot truly get to 100%. So as per them, they currently operate at absolute peak capacity. And that's why for the last 2 years, they've had zero growth. But the expectation is that from this year onwards, they should grow about 30% or so, 25 to 30% for this year. And I think their goal is to max out the new capacity, which is overall double or slightly more than double their revenue in the next 3 years, which is decent. I mean, I know SME investors are growth hungry, but 25-30% year-on-year growth is reasonable. In terms of their numbers, their P&L is decent. Like I said, not much growth, but their margins are good. Their margins are improving. Their balance sheet is okay for an SME company. It's fine. There is obviously some receivables. They don't currently generate cash from an operating cash flow standpoint, but that's usually still okay at this stage and this scale. It's not very negative. The company is coming at 15 times, which is again not too bad. We've seen so when you compare this with peers, if you compare this with some of the battery companies in the main board, they actually don't get much of a premium. They trade at 20 to 25 times only. In the SME segment, there are a couple of companies. There's GP Eco. I'll come to GP Eco. There's SunGarner, which has been at around 35 times. I don't track that company, honestly, so I don't know what the deal is there, what the story is there. And then there's GP Eco, which is a company that has flown a lot recently, and that is the comparison that is getting people excited. If that company can trade at 70 times or 60 times, why is this so cheap? So on GP Eco specifically, I'll cover this, then I'll add 2-3 more points. But GP Eco specifically, I think their guidance is crazy for this year. They are saying that they will triple or something, if I'm not mistaken, go from 200 crore to 600, 700 crore, with like a increase in EBITDA. So it's really being valued on forward. and not this year. So GPECO is, if you believe their guidance, trading at maybe 15-20 times current year, maybe 15 times current year, while Smarten is probably trading at 12 times FY26. So as said, there isn't a huge difference. GPECO is in a very similar line to what these guys do, though GPECO is also doing some amount of solar EPC and some solar manufacturing also is coming up there. So a little bit more diversified. Couple of points apart from this is there are some interviews online, so you guys can check it out and make up your mind on the interviews. It looked to me like they were fairly honest, dedicated kind of promoters, but yeah, nothing that blew my mind. Like I didn't find them extraordinary in the SME category, but yeah, I think nothing that you wouldn't back or you would stay away from. There is a small OFS, again, not a big deal. The promoters did mention that this is just some small reward for all the work that they've done so far. So I don't think it's a big deal, but just highlighting that. So a couple of things. One is the LM is Arihant Capital. Now they bring one issue or two issues a year, but they're otherwise a fairly well-known merchant banker and, sell-side broker and so on. These guys have generally brought very high quality companies. If you look at their track record over the last 5-7 years, their companies have actually lasted and they've survived. Many of them are very good companies even today. The last issue was Balaji Phosphates, which nobody spoke about, barely got any subscription, listed I think 5-7% up. And in the last 3 months or 4 months, it has doubled from its listing price. Just calmly, it has gone from 70 rupees to 150 rupees. And nobody even talks about it. Even their other, they brought, I think Organic Recycling was one. There's one more very good company, which I'm forgetting. But Arihant is to me, a very, very interesting LM. There are no anchors. It's a fixed price issue. I'm not sure how the subscription and allotment will be. I don't know if this was covered. Even CFF is like that. Because it's fixed price, I don't know if this will also be the 10 lakh limit kind of thing, but my sense is it's not. As of now, my understanding is if you are applying in HNI category, you can actually apply more and it will be proportionate allotment. We'll, I guess, know at the end of this process. There was one pref. Actually, I don't know if it's a pref or it was just a transfer of shares, but there are some public investors also in this company. A couple of names. One was this fund called Bay Capital, which looked interesting. I was just looking at what some of those investors do. And this Bay Capital looked interesting, looked like fairly high quality investors with a very strong background before starting Bay Capital. The other name was Aryan Khan, which I believe from my understanding is actually Shah Rukh Khan's son. So Shah Rukh Khan has also invested in this company for what it's worth. I feel one can take a small risk due to the LM. I have a feeling this will not list negatively. I think there's just enough noise about this company that it should list positive. Purely for risk takers, I might take a risk. I'll see how the subscriptions are going and might take a small risk on this. I don't think there is a downside risk because the pricing is very, very attractive. So unless, you've seen the last 3, like 2 days back, whatever, that set of 5 jokers that listed, and I think all listed negative or very poorly relative to what they should have listed. And most of them have crashed further. So I would say, unless you're a risk taker, if you're a risk taker, you can try your luck. If not, just let a few good listings come before you take a bet on something that does not seem to have a lot of demand. So let's just keep track of subscription tomorrow and see if there is some signs. Risk takers can pray that the value that is left on the table will mean it won't list negatively.
Got it. Thanks, Rohit. ये तो आपने लेटेस्ट न्यूज बताई है with respect to Shah Rukh Khan being an investor in the company. I'm sure that would be the highlight of this space and your review. But yeah, thank you so much for covering it. I also feel that at IPO price, the downside is limited. Unlike the companies which had came in, the 5 companies which had came in, this is priced well. With Aryan Capital, I also feel that the probability of discount listing is rather low. Plus, क्योंकि proportionate allotment है, so, and again, this is my understanding, can be wrong. So this will again have like a lot of people applying just to get one lot. So HNI should go very high. From our understanding, how it will work is just instead of like one lot, you'll at least get 2 lots in SHNI in retail, and instead of just one lot, you'll get at least 2 to 3 lots in three lots at least in SHNI and big HNI or something like that. Like it will be proportionate. We'll still see how it evolves. Yet to find out how fixed price issues work. But at least at IPO price, I not feel a lot of downside is there. So I'll be applying to this issue. Thank you, Rohit, for covering it in covering it in rather detail, although you said you will cover it quickly. With that, maybe we'll talk about one last company of the day before we call it end of July second week IPOs. The last company we'll be talking about is Aston Pharma. Incorporated in 2019, company is engaged in business of pharmaceuticals, specializing in exporting healthcare products globally. Its product portfolio encompasses various therapeutic categories such as analgesics, antibiotics, antifungals, vitamins and more. आईपीओ की बात करूं तो 27.5 27.5 CR का आईपीओ है, all of which is a fresh issue. Company is coming at a market cap of 105 crores. So 105 crores per company is diluting 27.5 CR. In terms of the FY25 financials, उनका revenue top line था 25.6 crores और bottom line था 4.33 crores. 4.33 crores का PAT था. So it's coming at like, let's say 22, 23 P if I'm not wrong, something like that. LM की बात करूं तो LM is Saubhagya Capital Options, which is a very old LM, was MIA for the lack of a better word, and is back after like 10 years. 2015 में उनका last issue आया था, उसके बाद this is their first issue after 10 years. So just setting up Aston company majorly जो है वो pharmaceuticals और nutraceutical products सेल करती है मैन्युफैक्चर करके और उनको मेजरली एक्सपोर्ट करती है. मोस्ट ऑफ द रेवेन्यू इज फ्रॉम एक्सपोर्ट टू वेरियस अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज. एस्टन ब्रांड के अंदर ये मैन्युफैक्चर करते हैं टैबलेट्स, कैप्सूल्स और लिक्विड्स, ऑइंटमेंट्स, क्रीम एक्सेट्रा. एंड ये खुद भी बनाते हैं और उसके अलावा लाइक अंडर एस्टन ब्रांड, एंड उसके अलावा कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग भी करते हैं दूसरे ब्रांड्स के लिए. व्हाट दे आल्सो डू इज कि ये सबलेट कर देते हैं अपनी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग एंड फिर उसको ये ब्रांड्स को बेच देते हैं. सो दे डू बोथ डायरेक्ट सेल्स एज वेल एज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग. इनकी जो फैसिलिटी है वो अंबरनाथ महाराष्ट्र में, टोटल प्रोडक्शन कैपेसिटी 8 to 9 करोड़ टेबलेट्स है पर मंथ, जिसमें अराउंड करोड़ टेबलेट्स की अभी अवेलेबल लाइक यूटिलाइज कैपेसिटी है, बाकी फ्री है. और सिमिलरली सिरप की भी अराउंड 37 किलोलीटर्स है पर मंथ कैपेसिटी. अब मेजर जो अपने को बात समझनी है कि जैसा मैंने बताया कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करती है कंपनी के पास. ऑर्डर बुक है अराउंड 40 CR की, विच दे विल एग्जीक्यूट इन दिस ईयर, एंड द कंपनी हैज वेंट ahead on record and said that they will do 40 CR worth of revenue in this year. That's the guidance which they are doing at same EBITDA levels. So जैसा मैंने बताया कंपनी ने FY25 में 25 CR टॉप लाइन किया है, 24 में 15 किया था, FY26 में they'll do 40 is what they are seeing. So there's a lot of good growth, like the company is continuously growing, which is good. But even if I take, let's say, top line of 40 CR in FY26 and a bottom line of same PAT margins as FY25, which is 17%. इस बार उन्होंने 2 महीने का डेटा दिया हुआ है, 6 करोड़ दिया हुआ है उन्होंने. They've done top line of 6 CR in 2 months of FY26. They have already went ahead and released results till May 31st in order to show the P annualized P lower, I feel. But if you take the same PAT margin as last year, they should do somewhere around 7 CR, which would bring the company's P around 16 FY26. So FY26 पे 16 P पे आ रही है is how I'll say, which just still seems high to me. Like a lot of goodness is already priced in, at least in this price. But जैसा मैंने बताया लास्ट ईयर 25 CR का रेवेन्यू किया था, उसमें से सिर्फ 3 CR डोमेस्टिक सेल्स था. 17 CR इनने सियरा लियोन करके एक कंट्री है उसमें एक्सपोर्ट किया था, एंड 5 CR जो है वो माली करके कंट्री है उसमें एक्सपोर्ट किया था. तो ये मेजरली 2 कंट्रीज हैं अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज जिनमें ये एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं. अब क्योंकि ये अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज हैं तो ट्रेड रिसीवेबल लंबे हैं. दे हैव सेड वेंट एड एंड सेड कि इनके 5 महीने के ट्रेड रिसीवेबल हैं, which again at this scale seems high to me. Like there is a risk with respect to having such high trade receivables for a business of this pedigree and business of this scale. So जैसे इनने 25 CR किया है, फार्मा उसमें से 20 CR है, न्यूट्रोसिटिकल अराउंड 2 CR है. लार्जेस्ट कस्टमर 42% पहला नंबर का कस्टमर है जो उसको 42% ऑफ रेवेन्यू उससे आया है. So again, very small business, not a lot to talk about. 25 CR जो ये रेस कर रहे हैं, इसमें से 6 CR is for capex, ये जो नई मशीनरी बनाएंगे, और 13 CR is for working capital. So जैसा मैंने बताया, FY26 में 40 CR प्रोजेक्शन है, 7 CR का टॉप लाइन भी पकड़ लो, बॉटम लाइन भी पकड़ लो, तो 15 PE पे कंपनी आ रही है, विच सीम्स डिसेंटली वैल्यूड टू मी. अगर कंपनी के पीई की बात, पीएस की बात करूं, तो कंपनी ने शेल्टर फार्मा, बाफना फार्मा एंड ट्राइडेंट लाइफलाइन को पीयर बताया अपना. बट अगेन दीज आर बिगर साइज कंपनीज, सो कंपेयर टू देम क्वेस्ट एक पीयर है, आई फील, विच इज एट 10 पी, बट उसमें सीजी है. दैट इज नॉट अ कंपेरेबल. दिस गाय 15 फॉरवर्ड. इसके अलावा एक मेजर रिस्क जो मेरे को बिजनेस का लगा, द प्रमोटर्स ऑलरेडी डाइल्यूटेड a big chunk before IPO. So before IPO, प्री IPO है कंपनी में, जिसमें 32% वो डाइल्यूट कर चुके हैं, एंड नाउ द शेयर होल्डिंग इज गोइंग टू 50%. तो कंपनी की मार्केट कैप 105 करोड़ है, उस पे प्रमोटर्स शेयर होल्डिंग हैज वेंट डाउन टू 50%, विच इज अ सिग्निफिकेंट ड्रॉप, राइट? So that's a risk which you need to know when you are understanding and about the business. उसके अलावा सेकेंड रिस्क है जस्ट द शेयर अमाउंट ऑफ वर्किंग कैपिटल विच इज स्टक इन बिजनेस. कंपनी के रिसीवेबल डेज 150 है, कंपनी के पेएबल डेज 60 है, सो नेगेटिव कैश कन्वर्जन साइकिल है 90 डेज का. So it will always need working capital, and most of the revenue is concentrated from export to African countries, which tend to be slightly on the like caution side when you are exporting so much to these countries, because these countries, what if the payment doesn't come? But having said that, it seems that there's a lot of like marketing with respect to the company. Saubhagya Capital's coming after a long time. It might list well actually. So if I want to take a punt, I might take a punt simply because there's nothing available on this day. Like this is listing on a day when there are no other issues, so the money would be free. So because of which I expect it to have a very like high subscription, but then I don't see it listing great per se. Like it's a issue where a lot of goodness is already captured in the pricing, and because it's such a small company with a lot of sales concentrated to two countries, export countries or Africa, with a huge trade receivable days, cash conversion cycle negative, it doesn't excite me much. But yeah, that is what my review was of Aston Pharma. I don't think I'll be applying, or if I apply, I might as well just do a Kalo India, Kalo Year and apply just to get a dot and then see from there. But yeah, that is what our review was with respect to the fourth company. I hope the voice became better in during the show. If it didn't, maybe when I download the podcast, that's when it gets better. But yeah, while I close this, there are TFS is closing tomorrow, so we'll see how it evolves. But next week there are two main board companies: SmartWork Co-working Spaces is there, and then Anthem Biosciences is there. And then on the SME side as well, we have one definite listing, which is Spunweb Non-Woven. So we'll definitely do these three next week, and then if anything else comes up, we'll kind of review them as well. With that, thank you so much everyone for joining. Have a good day ahead, and I'm really sorry for all the technical glitches which happened today. Thank you. Bye.